Hi, it's Curtis from STEM Recording, back to talk to you today a little bit about, this will be a short one, I just want to talk a little bit about subscription models for plugins versus purchase models, which is, in my opinion, I much prefer if I spend money on something to own it, to have it, and to own it. I think a lot of the bigger services and the more greedy companies have migrated towards a model of subscription. And I just want to, there's a couple of different kinds. There's the kind where you pay monthly for access to a full package of plugins like Slate Digital or iZotope. And these give you access to plugins you might normally not buy but may want to use from time to time. It's kind of a neat model if you have enough plugins to support it. But it has its drawbacks. And then there's the other model, which is you can buy plugins like with Waves. You can buy the plugins relatively cheap, but they go obsolete rapidly, and you must pay to update regularly, and they charge you handsomely. So Pro Tools Ultimate is another. You pay $2,600 for this software you think you own, and you still have to pay for yearly updates. So it's just not, some of these are just, it's just another way of bending you over the sink. It's ridiculous, and I'm getting tired of it. Some of these companies have lost my business and many others. And probably the biggest problem with some of these subscription services is once they've got you by the short hairs, they take advantage and they drag their feet. For instance, I don't think Waves is compatible with the new M1 processor with Apple. I'm sure that Pro Tools Ultimate must go, at least right now, has to go through Rosetta in order to use the M1 processor. iZotope is not ready. Slate is not ready. These are premier subscription services, and the M1 plugin or processor has been out for quite some time, and they're in no hurry to upgrade because they just don't have to. You're already paying. You're going to keep paying. I don't like that. Whereas I own plugins from companies like Valhalla, Klanghelm, Reaper, FabFilter. These are all companies where you already own the software. You paid for it. They're all M1 compatible already. Have been for a while. And I think the reason is if you have to purchase something, once they're not getting any more money from you, they need to continue selling that product. And they can't sell something that's not compatible with the most current processors. So they get on the ball and keep upgrading. These other guys, there's no motivation really for them to hurry and get compatible with the M1 because you're paying and you're going to keep paying. So those are some of the drawbacks. And there's still a couple. I love Soundtoys. Soundtoys is a purchase to own company, and they're not quite M1 compatible yet. You can use Rosetta, but it'd be great to see them get with the program. And I think Universal Audio also is not M1 compatible yet, which is unfortunate. They're one of my favorites. But again, you purchase those plugins, you own those plugins. Another reason I think purchasing is important is because of backwards compatibility. I, for instance, own a cheese grater, an old Mac Pro cheese grater, and that's what I track to. I track to Pro Tools 10. I don't want to upgrade. I get great recordings. I'm perfectly happy with what I got. I'm sick and tired of everything you spent thousands of dollars 10 years ago is completely worthless. I'm sick of that model. So I'm comfortable with Pro Tools 10. I track in Pro Tools 10. I'll mix in Pro Tools 12. But my Pro Tools 10 computer is an old cheese grater. It's got an old operating system. I don't want to upgrade it. I don't go online with it. But some of these plug-in companies, as they move forward with compatibility, they make their previous plugins incompatible to anything. That's ridiculous. I bought them. I own them. I want to use them. So I have a problem with that. And there's a lot of companies that do it. Waves does it. Pro Tools is notorious for it. Avid is. I love the product. I can't stand the company. I don't like their business model. It's predatory and just absolutely greed driven more than anything else. And I think it's up to us to we are the people who keep these places in business. I think it's up to us to speak with our dollars and let some of these companies know that their models are not appreciated, and we can move on. And let me tell you, there's some of these companies that, like FabFilter, Valhalla, some of these companies are fantastic and they are great plugins. And when it comes to, don't get me wrong, Waves plugins, I use them regularly. I think they're great. I'm not going to upgrade anymore. I'm not paying for any upgrades. It's gotten to the point of ridiculousness, and they'll only be able to do this as long as we allow them to. So my advice is do your research, do what's good for you. A lot of us can't afford to buy the latest, greatest Mac Pro every time it comes out, and so we have to use what's considered antiquated gear and plugins, even though it's a year or two old. So in order to get the best use out of your gear and your software purchases, my advice is do your homework, talk to people who've used these plugins before. There's plenty of videos around on this subject. I think I've seen a couple of videos on this subject. I just wanted to address it myself from my own experience, because some of these companies are nasty, and the longer we support them, the longer they stay around. And I for one am drawing my line in the sand today. So anyway, thanks for listening. If you'd like to leave a comment, please leave it below. Please check the like button and subscribe if you can. We appreciate you stopping by and listening to our content. Have a great day.